we've talked a lot about the battle that happened at Emancipation Park, Fuckley Park. We've heard a lot about the projectiles, the pepper spray, the fucking tear gas, the pigs that stood by and did nothing in their cowardice and their uselessness. But so my contingent, Mac, we were I've read a lot about this in the media, and I've seen a lot of talking about it since it happened, but one of the things that I have not really seen is any discussion of why we were marching at that time, like what our purpose was. It wasn't a victory lap, though, we won. It wasn't just for kicks. We weren't, just being unruly anarchists. We were all kind of chilling at that point. We're in Justice Park, which had been secured by Redneck Revolt, who are a really amazing organization, who were, leftists who are armed, because I think we should arm the left. And they secured the park, so we were good. And then we received intel that a group of armed Nazis were heading towards Friendship Court, which is a housing project that was predominantly made up of people of color. So we're like, well, we're not going to be chilling here anymore. And we roused, I think we had a couple hundred people at that point. And we set out towards Friendship Court, and as we were going, we met with another march. They had red flags. I'm not sure it was y'all. It was somebody in our team. So we merged as we approached 4th and Water. And, we had that discussion in the street, like, which way are we going? Because, communication's kind of tough when nobody has a cell phone. But we figured out where we were going. So, and at one point, I remember throwing my arm around one of my comrades' shoulders and just yelling, "This is so beautiful." Because we were talking about leftist unity. There were communists, there were anarchists, there were socialists, there were Antifa, there was probably a couple stray liberals that maybe, they'll grow up someday. And it was just this massive outpouring of love and solidarity and righteous anger and just fucking victory. Like we were going to go help. We were going to go help. And it was just joyful. It was pure fucking joy. And then it all stopped because some murderous Nazi drove a car into all my friends. And I was quite close. Like it's really trippy to see all this hysterical media coverage and to be able to be like, oh, there's me in the photo right there, right by Heather. It's a lot of us are dealing with that. It's not ever easy to see a comrade die. It wasn't something that I was, you sign up for that when you get involved in this world, but you don't quite realize that it is that possible and it's that close. But now that's the reality that we are living in. This is war. They want to kill us, and they have already murdered one of us. So we cannot allow that to happen. And I've been seeing so many, the backpedaling and the nonsense from the white supremacist, racist, fascist side, like all these very nice people, that were sad about their statue. Let me tell you about one of them. This wasn't really publicized because it was just us. After the attack, after we had found all of our people and gathered everybody we came with and made sure that none of our people were dead, we gathered a group. There's a bunch of us, maybe 20, 30 people, and a couple of people that were more grounded were like, okay, we cannot be here, we need to go, we need to be safe. And there was a local church, Methodist church, that had been set up as a sanctuary space. So we all headed there. And when we got there, it was very nice. It was just all local people and clergy and volunteers, and they had a mental health area, which is very quiet. There were nice people that were there to talk to you. There was acupuncture, there was a massage chair. It was very nice. They had granola bars. It was great. I hadn't eaten since 5 a.m., so that was cool. I could charge my phone and tell my partner that I was alive, which was nice. But at one point, when it was quiet, it was like a chapel. Then at one point, we heard all these feet stampeding down the stairs towards the door, and we heard screaming, and we heard people yelling, "They're outside. There's Nazis. They're outside." There was at least one. There was a Nazi with a gun trying to storm into the church because he knew we were there. You want to tell me that guy cared about a fucking statue? He came to a church, and they told me. I asked one of the church workers, are you guys okay? What the fuck is this? And Oh, they've been doing that all weekend. We've been on lockdown on and off all weekend because this scum has been walking by harassing a local church. These people that pretend to care about tradition and Christianity and whatever else they spout when the media talks to them. It was... I didn't think I would have to be afraid of dying twice in one day, you know? Like, and then the icing on the cake, and this is like an experience. I drove down with a couple wobblies, and we were looking for the car, and we went to the parking garage, and the driver, she was very nervous. She was very shaken up, and she decided she wanted to ask one of the cops to do something, which I'm sure was a very foreign idea to them. But she asked them if they would escort us to her car because that made her feel safe. And I was like, well, all right. Yeah, this is where we're at, you know? We're like asking a cop to protect us. It's insane. Well, they walked up there. You know what? I know, really. But we walked up there, and we heard a commotion. We heard banging and some yelling around the corner. And the cops went out, and they pulled out their little Tinker Toy guns, and they started yelling at people. And they told us to stand back. And after a few minutes went by, they radioed for backup, and then the National Guard came in. There was a guy with a gun around the corner. So, third time lucky. Like, you know, we're extremely lucky, like in MAC, that, you know, many of us were hit and were injured. One comrade ended up in the hospital. They're okay. It was a cracked rib, but it's still not great. We're extremely lucky that we didn't lose one of the people we came down with. We were maybe like 30, 40 strong. We organized, we had a bunch of cars. We had like a whole kind of last minute, but still productive operation. We were there, and we were in Clever. We went down in Becky Block. Like, we decided to dress up like normies. Like, instead of our usual, you know, I mean, I know I look good in black, but I pulled out my, I dressed like a yoga mom because had my hair up, I had lipstick on, it's great. Just because we're like, okay, we're going to a town full of literal murderous Nazis and Klansmen and militia and people that want us dead, and cops that are, you know, yeah, well, like I said. So we were like, okay, we're gonna, like, you know, try to blend in a little bit so we don't get immediately arrested before we can help. So that was one of our, like, safety precautions, which honestly, like, worked out pretty well. And nobody got arrested. We just got murdered. But, you know, a little tactic for you. But, you know, we made it back, and I didn't personally lose any friends, but obviously I lost a comrade. We all did. We lost Heather, who was there trying to help, which is the worst fucking thing about this. Like, mainstream media, right side, you know, everybody else who doesn't understand tries to paint a lot of us, and anarchists especially, as, you know, these chaotic, anger-filled, intolerant, just crazy people. But one of us was murdered because we were there and we were trying to help. And I wanted to come up here and talk about the joy that I felt when we were marching, when we had that beautiful moment of unity. When, you know, people from all across the leftist spectrum, we don't always quite get along, but we're essentially on the same team, and I really felt that down there. You know, we argue, we bicker about, you know, certain things, but when it comes down to it, we proved that we really are on the same team. We're all comrades in the struggle. We are all here for one another. You know, Taryn was one of the first people that I ran into on the street, and when we hugged, we weren't anarchists and a communist, we were just comrades. And that was so important, and it meant a lot. And I think that's the kind of feeling that we need to foster going forward, because this is not going to be the last person we lose. It's fucked up to say and to think about, but I mean, there shouldn't have ever been one, and there shouldn't be more, but look at who we're dealing with. Look at who we're fucking dealing with. It's not it's an insult to garbage, you know? Like, and saying if someone was in New York in the summer, like, you know, fucking... I don't have any, like, prepared remarks. I'm very humbled and honored to have been up here with so many amazing speakers. I'm just very grateful to be here and to be able to talk to you and get to know some of you, because, you know, when you're on, like, different softball teams, maybe don't hang out as much, but maybe we should, you know, because as we showed in the streets, that when we do get together for a beer after practice, you know, we get shit done and we take care of our own. So I don't even play sports. I don't even know why that's my analogy. I was a jock in high school, that's it. But I don't really have any other more profound thoughts to share. It's really just what I took away from that terrible, wonderful weekend where we ran the motherfuckers out of town is that when we work together and we have solidarity and understanding and we just stand side by side and link arms and face the fascist threat, there's no fucking way that they can win. So thank you for having me.